Hello and welcome to the Only Connect Champion of Champions special, the toughest of all our matches. This is the glittering crown. Two brilliant teams who already won their respective series are now quizzing for the ultimate title. There's huge excitement in the Cardiff studio and the weather conditions are perfect, unseasonably warm for the time of year, but with our typical light Welsh rain. Everything here is mild and wet. Let's meet the teams. On my right, George Caulfield, a junior doctor who has performed karaoke with Formula One champion Nico Rosberg. Joey Goldman, a philosophy graduate who has watched every episode of Seinfeld 12 times. And their captain, Hugh Binney, a chemistry graduate whose signature bake is a coffee and walnut cake. All joined by the Dots. They are the Dicers. Welcome back. You're our 2019 champions. You were also in our 300th episode. You've got little badges. George has visited us since your last time. You were on our medical special, I think, Doctors Only.
Yes.
Are you happy to be reunited with your original team, or you preferred the new lot?
We've got an unbeaten record to preserve here. So I think I'm the only person in the studio who's lost an Only Connect match before.
That changes this evening. You will be facing, on my left, Claire Turner, a technical deployment manager, Cub Scout leader and pinball enthusiast. Jonathan Cairns, a biostatistician who once played contrabassoon at the Royal Albert Hall. And their captain, Tim Brown, a data architect who raced a mountain bike across a glacier in the French Alps. All data science workers, they are the data wizards. Tim, you're last year's champions and you were on our 400th episode. What's your main memory from your series?
All of the other teams that we played throughout the whole season were just great fun, like start to finish. We had an absolute blast with them.
We are quizzing now for that ultimate title, Champion of Champions. It will, of course, be a very difficult match. I'll welcome you with those words. But you tossed a coin, you managed that bit quite easily. Data Wizards, you won, but you've decided to put your opponents in first. So, Dicers, please choose a hieroglyph.
Could we have the Eye of Horus, please?
Yes, you could. The Eye of Horus is going to be the picture question. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
Next, please.
Some sort of ziggurat, was it the Hanging Gardens of Babylon?
Yes, does look like that, doesn't it?
So, I mean, it's one of the 7 modern wonders and one of the 7 ancient wonders, I suppose.
Yeah.
The architects for the... Johan Utzon.
Next, please.
That's like wildebeest or could you one of the big...
Bison or buffalo or...
Yeah, so ziggurat, Hanging Garden, wave, buffalo. That's what I'm
And the final clue, please. Eruption.
What is that?
It's an eruption.
2 seconds.
Thank you for the warning. This is a tough question. We will
OK.
hand it over to our opponents.
Let's see if your opponents want to have a go for a bonus point.
Sails, they're all called sail. No, no idea.
That's not it. These are all things that were suggested by somebody as being things you could see out of a hotel room window if it were a more exciting view. That's Torquay, madam. Well, it's not good enough. What would you expect to see? The Sydney Opera House? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon? Herds of wildebeests sweeping majestically across the plain?
Yes.
Is the problem that Krakatoa is not erupting at the moment? What am I talking about?
Faulty Towers.
Faulty
Yeah.
Towers.
It's Faulty Towers. It's things that Basil Fawlty sarcastically suggests his grumpy customer might have wanted to see out of the window. Data Wizards, what would you like?
Twisted Flax, please.
Twisted Flax. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
What have we got?
Who was that? What was that?
That was, I mean, it's not Monarchs or anything.
No.
Next, please.
Is that between that year and the film that it came out in? So 1917 was the film that came out.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Is there a film called 1941?
I don't know. Next, please.
Oh. Did they release a version in?
Is it?
They might have done, actually.
I mean, it would make marketing sense, wouldn't it?
Should we try it?
Yeah. I don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Is the first number the name of a film which was released in the year of the second number?
Exactly so. I'll show you the last clue. What can you tell me about any of the films?
Well, 1917, famously, the First World War film, directed by Sam Mendes, released in 2019. 1984, obviously the film of the book. Did they specifically release it to mark the occasion?
Yeah, well, they attempted to, yes. There's one where John Hurt played Winston Smith, and it came out in 1984. 2012 is an American sci-fi film that came out in 2009. And 1941, Steven Spielberg directed that film in 1979. And it was actually a comedy set in Los Angeles just after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Dan Aykroyd was in it. Dicers, what would you like?
Could we have the line, please?
Yes, you could. What connects these clues? Here's the first.
Oh, gosh, well, this is
This looks like a sort of cryptic kind of... so maybe it's an anagram of winter and echoes.
It looks like winter going around in anagram records, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure that I can see it. You might need more, so time is running.
Next, please.
I think we're going to need more.
Next, please.
No, a bit past orange.
Next, please.
2 seconds.
Are these translations of some haiku, maybe?
That is not, I'm afraid, the connection. Data Wizards, do you know?
All before somebody exits pursued by a bear.
Not it. Keep looking at the clues as I tell you the answer, because you may kick yourselves.
Oh no.
These lines are anagrams of each other. It is a poem. It is written by the poet Anthony Etherin, who's a specialist in these poems of formal restraints, palindromes and so on. A little rusty after the gap quizzes. Let's see about the next one. What would you like, Data Wizards?
Could we have the Horned Viper, please?
Yes, you could. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
Dave,
Mike,
go away. Yeah.
Yeah, get another
Slingy Rook.
Next, please.
Is it something that someone said? Lines from the script? On
Please stop. Get another.
something like guacamole. This could be Cam.
Next, please.
Oh, are these titles of something?
The responses to something.
I feel like it's title. I feel like it's titles.
Last one, get the last one.
Next, please.
Yeah.
Cameron.
David Cameron. I think is his name.
So that's why.
Boris is the first one. So are they just
things
titles
are
of...
2 seconds.
Are they just like titles of political campaigns from Prime Ministers?
Are they titles of political campaigns introduced by prime ministers?
They are not. Dicers, your chance now for a bonus point.
Well, I was going to say something like misinterpreted tabloid headlines about sort of political statements made by various people. So Hugger Hoodie was David Cameron.
I'll give you that, yes. They are misinterpreted statements that the tabloid press spun up into political attributions. That's absolutely right. So, for example, Crisis, What Crisis was a tabloid headline, but they featured James Callaghan. The implication was that he'd said that, and it was then attributed to him. On Your Bike, that was something Norman Tebbit gave an interview in which he said his father got on his bike and went to work. They turned it into a quote. Some of that guacamole, what do you think that is?
I think was that John Prescott and Mushy... No, it was Peter Mandelson and Mushy
It was Peter
Peas.
Mandelson. It was just a joke. It was in somebody's newspaper column that Peter Mandelson went into a chip shop and he saw the mushy peas. He said, I'll have some of that guacamole. It was a sort of new Labour joke. We never really said it. And Hugger Hoodie was from a Labour Party press release, but rather naughtily was attributed to David Cameron. So you get the bonus, and what would you like for your own question?
Well, I always avoid the two reads because I assume it has the music question behind it, so I will go for the water and be proved wrong.
Water? You'll be hearing your clues. Here's the first.
So this is Bending the Jets. Next, please.
Don't recognise it suggests maybe like American football teams, somebody on the Sunderlands.
Next, please.
I don't recognise it, so I don't think I've got any additional things.
Next, please.
This is Tenacious D. This is Tribute. So Tribute, Best Song in the World, is the name of the song. So it might be something to do with tributes or claiming to be the best song.
Tributes.
I need to hear something more specific.
Tributes to the songwriter.
I will take that. It is tributes to a song that has been imagined in the song. Did you recognise any others?
Crocodile Rock.
Crocodile
wasn't it?
Rock. So the biggest kick I ever got was doing a thing called the Crocodile Rock. Third clue, best song ever, is also the title of the third piece, which is a One Direction song. And then the late greats at clue 2. So they are all tributes to songs that are invented within the song. Data Wizards, one question remains for you. The 2 reads. What do these clues have in common? Here's the first.
Waterproof tablecloth.
Okay.
It could be anything.
Yeah,
Is it
okay.
words?
Oh, is this what does like somebody use it as a? Is it like Winnie the Pooh or somebody uses it as a? There.
Okay, we'll get the next
please.
I don't know. It's actually waterproof. I'm making it.
A device to keep sensitive ship equipment
There
steady
was
at sea.
a prize for that.
Is it a gimbal? Gyring gimbal in the way? No.
Get another one.
Yeah.
Next, please.
Are they things invented by mistake, or that can't be right?
Were they
Get another.
invented? Yeah, next, please.
Well, that is GTN spray.
No, it's Viagra.
Oh. Okay.
1 second.
Are these things which were originally invented as something else?
Do go on.
Well, I'm pretty sure the last one is Viagra.
That is absolutely the size of it. They were all things that somebody was setting out to invent when they accidentally invented something else. So in seeking the treatment for hypertension and angina, the scientist found a happy side effect resulted in the pill Viagra.
The device to keep the sensitive ship equipment steady, was that the longitude prize? Was that trying to get a timepiece that worked at sea?
Well, this is what they were trying to do, but the thing that they invented by mistake, I mean, this is absolutely my favourite. The mechanical engineer, Richard James, was working with a lot of, sort of coiled metal, and he accidentally dropped them on the ground.
Slinky.
Slinky.
And invented the slinky. He noticed that they were going sort of backwards. The waterproof tablecloth cellophane and a strong adhesive for the aerospace industry. A side effect of that was the discovery of microspheres, that they retained their stickiness if you peeled them off and put them down, and thus the post-it note was the byproduct. At the end of a nice long round 1, the Dicers have 2 points, the Data Wizards have 3. On to the sequences round, where I'm glad to say I just want to know what comes fourth in the sequence, so it just is or it isn't. Dicers, what hieroglyph would you like?
We'll take the Eye of Horus again, please.
The Eye of Horus. You'll be seeing the first in a sequence. What would come forth? Your time starts now.
Where does the bishop look?
There's like Durham Con, there's like Edinburgh Bury, and like Kensington
You
Palace.
might get an answer realistic.
Next, please.
So who's there's a bunch, right? So who's Ganymede, Hebe,
We might need to take
Hyacinth.
to give ourselves maximum.
Next, please.
You're doing an extra, maybe.
Yeah.
Custom.
Duty.
1 second.
Flummoxed without a clue.
If we had bonus points, you would get at least 12 of them for that brilliant suggestion, but unfortunately not the answer. Data Wizards, do you want to have a go for a bonus?
Also without idea.
OK. A bishop's home is a palace without pace.
Gives you Al.
Al. Apollo's beloved, we were thinking of Daphne without Dane. PH. So AL, PH.
Yeah.
Alpha.
A-
Custom without
ET.
strike.
Yeah.
Habit without hit. AB. So we've got AL, PH, AB.
So, yeah.
We're looking for the letters ET met without M. So we are spelling out alphabet in letters. Data Wizards, you up for another question?
Why not? Horned Viper, please.
Horned Viper. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Okay.
Oh,
bit.
apps,
Game.
most downloaded apps all the time.
And it uses one button.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
No.
Yes,
Next,
yeah, no,
please.
right. That's going to be, yeah, up, down. Yeah, you're right.
So it's got 2 directions, something with 4
Four
directions.
buttons,
Full direction.
4 directions. Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
shall we try
Yeah,
it?
buzz it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
4 Pac-Man.
4 Pac-Man is a perfect answer. Tell me what's going on here.
We think these are video games which use this many buttons
That's
or
directions.
controls.
Exactly so. So a player of Flappy Bird can only do one thing to make the bird flap upwards, and successively you can do 2 things 3 things, Space Invaders, for example, left, right and fire. So any video game in which you can do 4 things, for example, Pac-Man. Well done. Dicers, what would you like?
Could we have the lion, please?
Yes, you could. What would come forth in the lion sequence? Here's the first.
Where's Evelyn? Or what is Evelyn?
Sounds
TB, consumption, also tuberculosis.
Next, please.
So is it they the number 1 causes of?
Yeah, but what are you working towards?
So no, I think these could be the ways that Louise died.
Oh, sure.
So it could
So
be
beheaded
guillotine. That's beheaded out of the guillotine.
Yeah, beheaded at guillotine is probably fine. Yeah.
Beheaded at the guillotine.
Guillotined, beheaded, either or both, absolutely correct. What is the sequence here?
I think these are ways that successive kings Louis died in France.
Exactly so. Louis XIII died of tuberculosis, then Louis XIV of gangrene, and so on. There were 4 Louis in a row, and Louis XVI by the guillotine.
Was the gangrene a result of an anal fistula? I feel like I read that in a Mitford book.
Do you know, I don't have that information, but I mean, it is a lovely, colourful edition. Merry Christmas. Back to you, data wizards, for a choice.
2 reads, please.
2 reads. What would come forth in this picture sequence? Here's the first.
Oh my God, what's that?
W. There's German. Is it German? Is that? With black at the top.
Flag, yeah.
Okay.
Next, please.
So Miffy from Netherlands, isn't it? Oh, is that?
Is Miffy Dutch?
I don't think so.
Next,
I
please.
think she's Japanese. So Tintin is definitely. So what's the order?
Holland, Belgium. So something that was written, a cartoon that was written in France.
Madeline, is that one?
Yeah, all right.
Madeline, yeah.
Madeline and a French flag.
A perfectly good answer. We had Asterix, but with the French flag. What is the sequence?
We think these are comic strips and the country they were written in, moving south.
Exactly so. We're moving along the North Sea coast through the countries, and we just want animated characters from there, and Madeline or Asterix or a French one would do. Dicers, what would you like next?
Could we have the twisted flax, please?
Yes, you could. The twisted flax. Can you untwist this one? What will come forth in the sequence? Here's the first.
Okay,
In a triangle.
Next, please. Oh, that's Tristan da Cunha and...
Is it something to do with flags
Diego
or
Garcia's
capitals
businesses.
or ownership or...
Cayman.
Next, please.
Do we need like an uninhabited British place?
Yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? Anywhere uninhabited we control? British Antarctic territory?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not quite sure what the sequence would be there.
2 seconds.
British Antarctic territory.
Not it, I'm afraid. Data wizards, do you know?
Svalbard.
Not it. What do you think the sequence is?
We think it's very small things in different oceans.
It is simply British overseas territories getting smaller.
Oh, right.
And the next would be Gibraltar. 1 question remains, the water question. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Okay. It's 12, isn't it? Is it 12? Or is Baker's dozen 13?
I'll get another.
Don't know.
Next, please.
So that's
3.
Is it?
Is it 4?
Is it 4? I've never seen the X Factor.
Not me.
No, me
Oh
neither.
dear.
Next, please.
Okay.
So that's Rob Brydon.
There's 2 numbers and a word.
2 seconds.
Second, the Premier League.
No,
No.
I'll come back to you to discuss that, but I can't take it as an answer. Dicers, do you want to have a go?
No, I don't think we do, I'm afraid.
We have got second Only Fools and Horses theme tune. There are various things it could be. This is to do with things that changed in that series. So in the 5th series, they changed the number of contestants on the Great British Bake Off. On the 4th series of the X Factor, they changed the number of judges. On the 3rd series of Would I Lie to You, the host who had been Angus Deaton became Rob Brydon. And on the second series of Only Fools and Horses, the theme tune changed, but we would have taken anything that changed on a second series. I lingered with the Premier League because he's always changing, but it doesn't quite have series in that way. Well, you say you've never seen The X Factor.
No.
But how have you managed not to?
Carefully.
Right. That means at the end of round 2, the Dicers have 5 points, the Data Wizards have 8. Now it's time for a horrible pair of connecting walls. Enjoy yourselves, Data Wizards. You'll be going first. Would you like lion or water?
Lion, please.
OK, you have 2.5 minutes to solve the lion wall, starting now.
Right, what we've got some missing vowels there.
Hawking, Sondheim,
Royal
We've got
Toast.
Stevens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely got Stevens.
Yep.
Stephen
Stephen
Fry.
Fry.
Stephen
There
Fry
are
as
cooking
well,
methods
Stephen
as well.
Merchant.
So let me do
try
some
Merchant.
cooking methods.
OK.
Yeah. Steam on left.
Svenska.
A roast to right, middle-ish. Yeah, if you...
Okay, we've got
So
Stevens as well.
tries.
So Hawking, Merchant, Fry. Are there any other Stephen King?
Sondheim. And
Where's Sondheim?
SNDM, HM. So I'm trying to cycle those. I can't see other things that would fit with Royal Tunbridge Wells.
That's Sevenoaks at the bottom.
Yes, so
Sevenoaks.
placed in Kent.
Um,
Royal Tunbridge Wells.
Tunbridge Wells. Any others?
Some of you don't know. LMR, what's LMR on the left?
Oh, that could be a lemur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
I'm going to try the Stevens.
baboon,
Yeah.
yeah, top middle.
oh yeah, that's it.
So baboon, lemur, orangutan, top right, and faucet maybe?
So try KNG. Try
The ones we don't, yeah. the ones we don't.
gorilla. Gorilla.
Grill.
Grill.
Yes.
Okay,
Ah, yes,
excellent.
good. Right. Steam, roast, bake, fry. And this is another one.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay.
So
And then
we've got
Steam King on top
Stevens.
left. Talking Merchant Sondheim. Is
Do we think that's it? Shall I try it? Okay. So Hawking, Merchant, Sondheim, I think.
So what else could they be?
No, it's not Druf.
It's high. It's not high.
Sand? Is there like Sandom or
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah. Okay.
And what's the ones we
We've
haven't
got
tried?
one left.
So it's
How
one of
much
the
time
top
have we got?
middle, the top three, top left.
Yeah, so
What do you think it's most likely to be? Town? Merchant? Is that everything?
maybe.
Quick, go!
Oh, that's it. The time is up and the wall has frozen. But incredibly, you did find 2 groups. So please, I'm not going to read them all out. Please tell me what connects bn, bzn, and so on.
Are they, I mean, these are all missing vowels things. So are they simians? Or-
Yeah, I'll take that.
okay.
Primates.
Yep.
Baboon, orangutan, lemur, gorilla.
Yep.
That's it. And the next group,
Methods of cooking.
yes, they are. The cruel thing is that Fry hasn't had any vowels removed. It's just Fry. And you can get points for the connections in the groups you didn't find. So let's resolve the wall. There you go.
Okay, so those are Stevens.
Stephen King, Stephen Merchant, Stephen Sondheim, Stephen Dorff. And that leaves the
Towns
others.
in, these are towns in Kent.
They are all towns in Kent. And unluckily for you, there is a town in Kent called Hawking. Well, it's Hawkinge, really. It's got an E on the end, but it would be exactly the same letters if you take the vowels out. Very well done for finding 2 groups and giving me 4 connections, total of 6 points. Let's bring in their opponents, see how they get on. Welcome back, Dicers. You have got the water wall, 2.5 minutes to solve it, starting now.
Okay. Hammersmith and Fulham. Islington.
There's Lane Boulevard. You've got Hackney at the top.
And Street as well as the other one. So yeah, Hackney, Hammersmith, Boulevard. What would the other one be?
Avenue.
Yeah.
So we've got Lane.
So we've got big cats as well. So tiger, lion, leopard, cheetah, presumably.
Yeah. Did you say that?
And so now we've got London.
Tim Henman, Tim Martin, Tim Minchin, and Tim Robbins.
Tim Berners-Lee.
Ah, okay.
So basically, Berners-Lee and Robbins are the ones which are going to go in either group.
Yeah.
So Islington, Hammersmith and Fulham, Hackney, and then one. I mean, we can, I guess, try both of them.
So we've got these 3
Yeah.
set,
Yeah.
and then one of these other ones is going to be.
I mean, we've got 3 guesses, so we can try both, but it'd be nice to know what they are. I'm guessing the remaining 3 at the top can't fit into 2. Henman isn't like some other place. It's not like Hendon or Martin.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It probably is something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, one of them probably is.
Or Merton.
Merton, yeah, Merton.
Merton. Okay.
You've solved the war. Very calmly, I may say. Oh, yes, no, I'll just look at that sort of jumble of nonsense and we'll just press these buttons. Very good. What about the connections? Please tell me about the first group.
They are roads.
Roads. Exactly so. Can you undecipher it for me, please?
Street, Avenue, Drive and Boulevard.
And the next group.
Bukuts.
They are bukuts, and they are cheetah, lion, leopard, tiger. And the next group.
Numbers.
Yes, please. Can you unscramble it for me?
Hackney, Merton, Hammersmith and Fulham and Islington.
Perfect. And the last group mentioned.
Tims.
Exactly so. And their full names?
Tim Minchin, Tim Henman, Tim Berners-Lee and Tim Robbins.
Very well done. That is all the connections as well, and the bonus, a maximum of 10 points. Let's have a look at the overall scores. The Data Wizards have 14 points, the Dicers have 15. So good, close quizzing. You've showed what you're made of now, and you're all warmed up for the missing vowels round. Fingers on buzzers, champions. I can tell you that the first group of disguised clues are all Roman emperors. Dicers,
Caesar Augustus.
correct. Wizards? Too long, I'm afraid. Dicers, do you know?
Tiberius, Caesar Augustus.
Correct. Dicers?
Tiberius Claudius Caesar Augustus.
No, too long, I'm afraid. Data Wizards, do you know?
Tiberius Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus.
That's it. Next clue. Dicers,
Gaius, Caesar Augustus Germanicus.
otherwise known as Caligula. Next group, things that came in a dream to these people. Dicers,
Paul McCartney and Yesterday.
well done. Wizards,
Samuel Taylor Coleridge and Kubla Khan.
yes, it did. Come on, it's Srinivasa Ramanujan and the Infinite Series for Pi. Next clue. Dicers?
James Cameron and The Terminator.
Apparently so. Next category, 3 countries in consecutive alphabetical order. Data Wizards.
Jamaica, Japan, Jordan.
Well done. Thankfully, there will be no more clues because it's the end of the quiz. And looking at the final scores, the winners and now champion of champions with 19 points are the Dicers. Very well done. Data Wizards, you finished with 16. You are, of course, still champions. You're champions, you're champion of champions. You're all absolutely champion. You're brilliant. Thank you so much for coming back. And thank you for watching the Only Connect Champion of Champions special, the ridiculous quiz that's more difficult than getting an engineer out to mend my dishwasher. Honestly, don't get me started. Good night.